And good morning, everybody. Welcome, Hot Takes, Goodman and Haertl. Bruce, are you getting ready for the snow tomorrow? What have you done to prep yourself? Have you gone to the grocery store? Have you stocked up on canned goods and paper products?
No, I haven't done these things, Eric, and shame on me for a lack of preparation. I am looking forward to the change of pace in the weather, though, and to hunker down while other people are lamenting the potential change in weather. My attitude is, and Eric, Alex and I were just chatting about this. We got the Nuggets at 1:30, and then we've got the Avs at 6 o'clock on Saturday. The weather's going to be crap. So why not just hunker in and hope for the best with the two teams in the postseason playing on the same night? So, frankly, I'm kind of looking forward to it. Let's go.
At the risk of correcting you, I believe the Avs Stars game is at 6:30.
Thank you.
A half hour. Listen, if somebody's watching this show right now, if they tune in at 6, they're going to be pissed at you that they scheduled their day a half hour ahead of when it should have been. That's why I wanted to make that correction. But with that, there's only one Avs game on the schedule. It's going to be a sportsgasm for Denver fans on Saturday. Yeah. Would you rather have 2 in one day, or would you rather have had the Avs game on Sunday and then alternate to have something to look forward to?
I would rather have the alternate. I mean, you're right. It's going to be a sportsgasm, and that's great. Those are always fun, especially when the weather's crappy and it's you got nothing, no reason to pull yourself outside.
Right.
That'll be fun. But Alex and I were talking about it's like, well, what if the Clippers come in and nip them and get up 1-0 in game one, and then all of a sudden Dallas is up 2-0 after one on Saturday night. Yes, it's something that you look forward to, but there's also some trepidation too, right? So in a perfect world, I would rather have one night, one the next, and keep the pattern going.
Right.
And don't forget, the Rockies are home against the Nationals, so you've got that too.
Well,
there.
That game, Mother Nature just won't let them lose.
Thank God for Mother Nature.
I want to tell you about Roller Auction, the leader in Colorado auctions for over 45 years. On Wednesday, April 30th, there's an auction featuring computers, printers, television, cell phones, jewelry, watches, and more. Bidding is started at rollerauction.com. And don't forget to go to rollerauction.com to learn about upcoming auctions. Get what you want at the price you want today at Roller Auction. Time now for the lead.
The lead is presented by Sasquatch Casino, a family-owned casino that treats you like family.
The NFL draft, and today up in Boulder, Shedeur Sanders is going to be holding a workout for the New York Giants. According to Sports Illustrated's Albert Breer, many NFL scouts don't have Shedeur graded as a first-round prospect. Breer writes, quote, "I'm having a really hard time finding coaches or scouts who believe Sanders is a first-round talent. This, by the way, is separate from any issue anyone has with his personality. Those questions exist, but lots of teams have made exceptions in that department in the past to take guys with special talents. The problem seems to be that too many folks think Sanders lacks those type of gifts. I've had more than one person say to me, if Sanders goes in the first round, it'll be because an owner got involved." What do you think of all of those anonymous sources? And please, let's not go down this road and rip Albert Breer for being an irresponsible journalist because he did not put anybody on the record.
Right. No, I think, first of all, for me, it depends on how much stock you put into not just reports like this, but all reports during a time where deflection, subterfuge, the silly season, tipping your hand, trying to get someone to move up, trying to get them to tip their hand, all of the stuff that goes on leading up into the draft. So how much stock do you put in what you are really hearing at this point? You and I, fortunately, get to see Shedeur Sanders a lot. We get to watch him every Saturday for 2 years, and we have our list of things that are concerning going to the next level with him. Likes to run the ball.
What concerns you going to the next level? I have one big one.
Well, I think he holds on to the football a long time, and he runs backwards. He's big on, and some of that is just his inherent belief in himself to be able to make a play out of nothing, which on one level you appreciate. You appreciate that about a competitor. But on the other hand, in the NFL, it doesn't tend to work. And you can't run backwards with the football. You got to stay in the pocket, and you, in fact, got to move forward, climbing the pocket in the NFL. So there are some warning signs about Shedeur Sanders, but you can't fake 72% completion rate, even if it's in the college game where there's obviously a lot more space to throw. We get that. The challenges will be different in the NFL game. I don't know, Eric. I watch this guy week in and week out, and he sure as hell has had let's just agree on one thing. The guy's a playmaker, and he can make plays. The question is, how much frequency can he make plays with at the NFL level? And maybe that's the trepidation that NFL scouts are having right now, at least at the top end of the first round. So we'll just have to wait and see.
You call it the silly season, I'll call it the lying season. It's really the same thing. But when you have a lot of these scouts saying, I wouldn't take him with a first-round pick, probably a lot of these teams would never have taken him anyway because they don't need a quarterback. Right. Every team has done homework on Shedeur Sanders. Even the Chiefs have done homework on Shedeur Sanders. You do homework on the quarterbacks no matter what, because that's just what you do. So maybe it was a Chiefs scout, for all I know. But why do you think the Giants are in town? Do you think they're in town to consider him for the third pick, or do you think they're in town because they might trade up to get him later on in the first round?
I think either one of those scenarios, probably the latter, would be maybe a little more believable to me. You got to identify the teams, and I think we understand the teams, right? The Giants, the Raiders, the Steelers, the Saints. You go through the NFL, and you'll come up with 5 or 6 teams in the first round that it's very plausible that a quarterback can be taken. To your point, and it's a good one, you always do your due diligence on quarterbacks. You just never know where someone might fit. There's trade possibilities. There's all kinds of things that you can do with a player that is valued. The question is, how much value is there really for Shedeur Sanders relative to the upper half of the first round? Is he a top 10 quarterback? Well, there's really only 2, maybe 3 spots he could plausibly go in the first 9 picks. Does he go there? I don't know. I mean, to me, New Orleans probably makes the most sense in terms of fit. But like you say, the lying season, the silly season, be very careful about what you're hearing and, more importantly, what we're listening to right now.
Well, I'll give you one thing that isn't part of the silly season or the lying season, because this guy is on the record. And when I read this, I'm thinking, wow, you just took an axe to Shedeur Sanders' knees. Pat Shurmur came out and talked about Shedeur Sanders, comparing Shedeur Sanders to Daniel Jones. Remember, Shurmur coached Jones with the Giants. Of course, he was the offensive coordinator for the Buffs this year. This is what he said. I think they're very similar prospects from a player and a person. I think they're both wonderful human beings. They're both highly accomplished, talented college players that have a chance to make an impact in the NFL. So there's a lot of similarities between Daniel Jones and Shedeur Sanders. There's one thing that we know for sure. Daniel Jones was a top 10 pick and a bust. What the hell kind of comparison is that? And when Dion read that, what do you think he said to Pat? What the hell are you thinking, Pat? That's what I think he probably thought. And I think that's what he probably said. Hey, Shedeur Sanders reminds me a lot of Ryan Leaf. Shedeur Sanders reminds me a lot of Achilles Smith. I mean,
well,
would you have picked too many worse comparables in recent memory than Daniel Jones? And if you are an NFL team and Shurmur knows both, are you thinking maybe our scouting is off a little bit? We had him graded higher than Shurmur.
I think it's interesting that Pat Shurmur would see that as a compliment.
Yeah.
Right? I mean,
right.
that's the thing that was when I first saw those comments, read those comments, that was the first thing that came to mind is like, well, if you really think that, why are you saying that out loud based on where Daniel Jones has kind of ended up in his career? Now he made his money. I mean, he got a good contract and okay, but has he helped the Giants win games? No. Is he a certifiable bust? Certainly as a player taken in the first round. It'd be hard to escape that right now. I mean, he's going to be a clipboard holder and a cap wearer probably for the rest of his career, I would imagine. I can't see him working his way back into a starting scenario. But you and I know this, and we've talked about this a lot over our time together. The hardest position to play well consistently in all of sports is quarterback in the NFL. There are just so many things that are thrown at you. And as a result, there are so many unknowns that you have going in. Does the college game translate to the pro game? Not apples to apples. No, it just doesn't. The challenges are different. The processing is different. The challenge of the playbook and learning the playbook, which is far more involved usually than it is at just about any college, in any college program. These are all things that are different for any player coming into the next level. And it will be different for Shedeur Sanders. Mentally, I don't see anything in his game that would lead me to say he can't handle those things. We won't know until he stands in there about his ability to process under pressure in an NFL game until he's doing it. But I don't know, Eric. I think you and I both like Shedeur Sanders.
Yeah, I don't have a problem with him. This one I have a problem with. I have a problem with when he showboated. I'm not a fan of holding up the diamond watch thing. Yeah. Call me old school, and that's fine. Yeah, I'm just not a big fan of that.
Yeah, and that's a personal taste thing, and I tend to agree with you on that.
Especially in that season last year, not this past season, but the season before, when they weren't a very good football team.
No, you're absolutely right.
It's like doing a bat flip when you're down 9-1 in the ninth inning to make it 9-2.
Yeah, you're right. That's a pretty good comparison.
Real quick, want to wrap up this segment by we are getting a lot of pushback on X from our thoughts on number 2 and number 12 being retired later this month. Okay. So somebody put out there myopic views. You insult Coach Prime and refer to his contributions as a traveling circus. Let me just stop right there. We never called it a traveling circus. So I don't know what the hell you're talking about, but I'll continue. And I want you to answer this. You diminish Shedeur and offer condescending advice to Travis. You hide your bias behind history and tradition. You mention respect, but show no respect. Number 2 and number 12 will be honored, and we are glad this is happening. How would you like to react to that?
Well, I respect everyone's opinion. It doesn't mean that I have to agree with it. I do think tradition and history have something to say about this. My statement, and I stand by it, was that this was a timing thing. I wasn't angry by this. It surprised me a little bit, but it surprised me more from a timing standpoint than anything else. And I will reiterate the fact that it does seem somewhat disrespectful to players that have come before them. There are only 4 players in CU football history who have had their numbers retired. 4. Now, I would listen to the argument that that's a athletic department, athletic director, school issue, not a Deion Sanders issue, and I would have no problem with that. That's fine. I just think that I just don't think it's a great look for the program that does have history.
Let me ask you something.
Yes.
Let me ask you something. Okay. So now the narrative is this was Rick George's idea, not Deion Sanders' idea. It was Rick George's idea. And one report is this happened 8 months ago. Rick George thought of this 8 months ago, which I find incredibly hard to believe for a team coming off, a 4-win season.
Right.
Travis Hunter is the most decorated college football player for a single season, I believe, in college football history. There is no doubt that Travis Hunter should have his number retired. When I say that about Travis, to compliment him, doesn't mean I'm dissing Shedeur Sanders, although it comes out that way. And that's fine. He won the Johnny Unitas Golden Arm Award. That's a wonderful award and something to put on your bookshelf and say, hey, listen, I wound up winning this award. I'll say this, and I'm going to conspiracy theorize here. What motivation? You don't have to have a motivation for everything that you do, Bruce. But what's the motivation for Rick George, who, by the way, his job description is kissing Deion Sanders' ass? That's his job description now. He gave up the rights to being the AD when he hired Deion Sanders. Rick, if you're upset with me, feel free to give me a call, and I'll say the same thing to you. You want to give me a Zoom call? I'll say the same thing to your face. You want to get together for coffee? I'll say the same thing to you. I'm not going to back down to you. You don't have control of that football program anymore. It's Deion's, and that's fine. And Deion has done amazing things with that program on and off the field, whether it's recruiting, revenue, so on and so forth. But you have been neutered, and any reasonable person will say that. Why do I think this was Rick George's idea? By putting those numbers up there, you need NIL money. Maybe you put those numbers up there to get some NIL money from both of those guys. We know Travis Hunter is very generous. I don't know if that is true or not with Shedeur. I do know that is true with Travis Hunter.
Do you think Shedeur Sanders would have even cared about getting his number retired?
Absolutely.
Do you? Okay.
Yeah. Do I think Travis Hunter cares? No.
Okay. Yeah.
Travis Hunter is a humble, down-to-earth guy. And when we talked yesterday on the show, when he said, I think it was to CBS Sports, I'm not playing if I don't get to play both ways. That is one statement that certainly grabbed headlines. Travis Hunter, no, I'm sure he's flattered, but I don't think it's something like he wanted. I'm not suggesting that Shedeur was pining for it, but I think it means more to him. Yes, I do think it means more to him.
Again, as I said a couple of days ago, I'll reiterate, my biggest issue with it is the timing. And if you're going to throw in 8 months ago into this equation, and I don't know about where this started and who takes the responsibility, or who takes the for how it all played out. But if you're talking about this 8 months ago, that makes it even more presumptuous than it was when it was announced last week. So my problem was always about players that have played in the program, players like Darian Hagan, for instance, who took a program that was as bad as the one that Shedeur and Dion and Travis and Shiloh took. They weren't very good.
They weren't 1-11. They weren't 1-11, but they were not that good. They were not 1-11.
God, didn't they have a one? No, they weren't 1-11 because they didn't play 12 games then. But I think that they might have been a one-win team. I'd have to go back and look specifically, but they had fallen off the edge of the earth. And so all I'm saying is my problem is with players that had come before them, players that had helped build a national championship foundation, players that helped to produce the best period of 9 or 10 years in the history of Colorado football. And it was a timing thing. And
you know what? Hold on a second. Let me give you the records for you.
Go.
In 1980, the Buffs were 1-10 under Chuck Fairbanks. They were 3-8 the following season. Bill McCartney took over 2-8-1. McCartney's second season, 4-7. McCartney's third season, 1-10. Then they went 7-5, 6-6, 7-4. I mean, in today's world, he would have been fired. He never would have gotten his first 3 seasons were 2-8-1, 4-7, 1-8, 1-10. Thanks, Bill. It's been a pleasure. Now get the hell out of here. In today's college football, he would have been fired. He got a bunch of extra years, eventually turned it around.
Yeah. And by the way, just as my PS on this, Travis Hunter, I've got no issue with. And someone could sit down and talk with me about Shedeur Sanders, and I might listen to it. But I think that that's a little presumptuous about retiring a player who started 23 games as a quarterback. And this isn't the only consideration. He went 13-10 in 2 seasons. Has he been a part of the turnaround in Boulder? Of course, absolutely. And I give him his flowers for that. But in terms of retiring a number, I think I probably need a little more persuasion, with all due respect. That's all.
I would agree. And
I think the timing could be better on both of them. That's all. That's what I got.
Yeah. Okay, well, I'm glad that's what you got. Let's get into the draft. That's a week from today. We were talking a lot about the name Omarion Hampton. Is he going to be available if the Broncos really want a running back? There's a lot of depth at that position. Travion Henderson, he's now being linked to the Broncos. Is he worth the number 20 overall pick if they really want him? That's next.
Ever wondered where city and county fleet vehicles go when they retire? Now's your chance to find out and score big. Imagine driving away with a great deal on a reliable vehicle. For over 45 years, Roller Auction has been the trusted source for government fleet vehicles and equipment. Trucks, SUVs, sedans, and more, all selling to the highest bidder. Don't miss out. Visit roller.bid/hot takes to get auction updates today. Your next vehicle could be just a click away.
Everyone has their favorite barbecue spot. Mine, Smokin' Dave's Barbecue and Brew. My favorites, slowly smoked ribs, smoked corned beef Reuben, smoked meatloaf with a portobello balsamic cream sauce. And don't forget about Smokin' Dave's 16-hour smoked brisket and pork with one of their 4 homemade barbecue sauces. Great sides, you bet. Barbecue beans made with pork and brisket and their southern corn bake. Man, you gotta try it. Plus, they have amazing non-barbecue entrees on the menu. Go where I go, Smokin' Dave's Barbecue and Brew in North Denver.
Sasquatch and Wildcard Casinos in Blackhawk have another incredible promotion. They'll be giving away a Ford Bronco Raptor or nearly $30,000 in cash the weekend of May 23rd. Get finalist entries from 10 a.m. until midnight during their daily cash drawings every 45 minutes or by redeeming player points. And all daily cash drawings that don't get picked are eligible for a second chance drawing on Wednesdays, and that can turn into extra cash. Sasquatch and Wildcard Casinos, a family-owned casino that treats you like family.
Everyone has their favorite sports bar. Mine, the Sportsbook Bar and Grill in Highlands Ranch in the DTC. Both locations are everything a sports bar should be. An upscale menu with 12 different burgers, outstanding wings, and my favorite, the Philly cheesesteak egg rolls. They've got every game on the NFL Sunday Ticket, MLB Extra Innings, NHL Center Ice, NBA League Pass, plus soccer, rugby, and UFC. Sportsbook is a hangout bar or great for private parties. The Sportsbook Bar and Grill in Highlands Ranch, the DTC, and coming soon to Parker. They are the sports bar. And welcome back, Hot Takes Goodman and Haertl. We told you at the top of the show, it is going to be a sportsgasm on Saturday. You have the Nuggets going on at 1:30, and then the Avs play at 6:30. It's supposed to snow, so I have a suggestion for you. How about Cater In from Smokin' Dave's Barbecue and Brew? Now, if you want to do a big party, they can do all kinds of catering for you. But if it's just you and a couple of other people at the house, here's some suggestions for you. And this is not just the best barbecue in town. It's one of the best menus in town. How would you like to have this? And this is something you would not find on a barbecue menu. The smoked meatloaf. It has chorizo, sweet Italian sausage, porter beer, smoked cheddar, served with sauteed onions, mushrooms, and a balsamic vinegar cream sauce. You get 2 sides, including cornbread as well. The sides are amazing. The mac and cheese is unbelievable. My daughter is 16 now. The first time she really had non-Kraft macaroni and cheese was from Smokin' Dave's, and I was shocked that she not only liked it, she wanted more. Kraft macaroni and cheese was the bomb. Then came Smokin' Dave's, and then suddenly she changed her mind. You like onion rings? These things are like truck tires, and they're cooked perfectly. Everything is great on the menu. Like ribs are outstanding, the brisket, the pulled pork. Go check out Smokin' Dave's Barbecue and Brew. You can find them in Denver on 36th and Pecos. How you doing, Bruce?
I'm good. I'm sitting there starting to get excited about the draft and curious about what we're looking at in the draft. How does picking at number 20 change things? It kind of broadens the horizons and it kind of broadens the possibilities of making picks that maybe one hadn't thought about. When you're up high in the draft list, it's easier to identify. First of all, you have very identifiable needs, and then you have good fits for those needs. The Broncos still have identifiable needs and fits for them, but they're going to have that at 20. A lot is going to have happened by the time that we get to the 20th pick next Thursday night in Green Bay. And it's interesting because with the flexibility that they have in this draft, having done their due diligence and good work in the free agency, they can do a lot of different things, especially with, as you just pointed out, the depth of the running back room. You don't necessarily have to, unless you have so much belief in a player or two in the first round, you can probably find your guy, or at least one that fits the job description for what you have in mind in the second or third round. So I'm really interested to see what direction Peyton go.
Is it fair to say the Broncos are looking for an RB1?
Yes.
Running back 1.
I would say that's
for a guy to
that's
compete.
fair. Yeah. Right.
Yeah. Whoever comes in, this is your starter. He will have to earn the job, but you are expecting him to win the job convincingly. This is our guy. Fair to say?
Yeah. I think
Bruce, he's not coming in the third round. Your surefire RB1 is not coming in the third round. You might get lucky, and he could be there in the third round. But there's a much better chance he's a first-round pick or maybe a second-round pick. He's not coming in the third round, despite the depth. Hampton is a guy I think they would probably love to have with everything that I'm hearing. The question is, will he be gone? Colston, Loveland, another position of need. I don't think they're dying to have Colston, Loveland.
I would agree with that.
You've been told the same thing?
That's the vibe I have, yes.
There are other tight ends here.
Yeah.
I think they're more eager to take a running back with their first pick, then they are a tight end.
Mm-hmm.
Because now they have a tight end.
Yeah, they made that move in free agency. Right.
But even so, they weren't in love with Colston Loveland anyway, even at the 20th pick. The first pick doesn't have to be a running back, but man, you better cross your fingers you get your guy in the second round. Or you might have to do what Sean Payton always does. When I say always, I mean 100% of the time. Since he has been in Denver, he has never traded back. Not one time. He's traded up. He's got Mims, right? He's picked up he picked up Moss in the first round. He picked up Troy Franklin, not in the first round. He traded up to get
Right. Yeah, but not in the first round. He hasn't done it in the first round.
Right.
So when we talk about flexibility, it encompasses a lot of things. And the flexibility now makes the possibility of, I don't think moving up in the first round, unless they have a player that is graded so off the charts for them, is available. I just don't see this as a group that likes to give away picks to do it. Adversely, I could see it the other way. I could see them moving down in the first round for extra picks. I think that that's more plausible. Not saying it's going to happen, but I could see that as a more plausible outcome. I do think that they can get a running back that fits their needs in the second round. And Henderson seems to be a third down back out of Ohio State.
Yeah.
A three down back out of Ohio State that they like. But you just got to be careful about what you're hearing. And
wait, when you say what you're hearing, are you referring to injuries or other things?
I'm just talking about more than anything, where players are on their board.
Well, wait, I want to go back to what you said on what you're hearing. What are you hearing about Henderson that apparently I'm not hearing?
Oh, no. The only thing about Travion Henderson is that they like his skill set. And in a draft that has a deep pool of running backs, it doesn't have a deep pool of three down running backs. Henderson is one of those that is a three down back. He can run the ball, he can catch the ball out of the backfield, and he is proficient in pass protection. Those are the three factors that you need to have from a three down back. So while it's a deep running back draft, it's not a deep running back draft for three down runners. Obviously, Hampton's one of them. Genty is one of them. And I get the sense, based on what I'm reading and hearing, et cetera, that most teams would consider Henderson a three down back. But it doesn't need to be most teams. It just needs to be the team that's picking him. And in this case, we're talking about the Broncos.
Okay. I mean, does durability play a role in he's had some injuries?
Yeah. I mean, of course it plays a role. Yep.
And you're looking at a running back who, I don't want to say split carries last year, but last year he wasn't asked to carry a heavy load. So do you wonder if he can be an RB1 and be a three down back and take that type of punishment?
Well, you got two guys there because the other guy is a second round or third round guy too. So you've got some solid quality coming out of the program at Ohio State.
So did North Carolina with Javonte Williams and the other guy. How have they panned out?
Well, yeah, I mean, I hear you. I consider
that was a dual backfield too.
Yeah, I'm not sure that I would. Well, okay, yeah, I mean, I guess, but that's always a bit of a crapshoot. Because that's another thing that's being. You talk about the quarterback position and a different set of skills that are being asked from him. What about a running back? I mean, how many guys in college now are proficient pass protectors in college football? Are you kidding me? I mean, I'm not going to say it's a lost art, but it's not a practiced art anymore. The way that they spread their offenses and the way they use, it's just not a skill set that a lot of guys come out of college with that makes them proficient immediately at the pro level. And I think for the Broncos to be in love with a running back, it has to be a 3-down running back.
Yes.
That's my opinion.
Right. Let's look at the 20th pick and where it's slotted, because right behind them, the Pittsburgh Steelers, who have been linked to Shedeur Sanders.
Right.
If you're the Broncos, are you hoping Shedeur slips?
Maybe. Yeah, maybe.
I mean, clearly,
does he slip that far? I mean, if he gets past 9, then things become very interesting, right? Because the Saints are sitting there with a damaged Derek Carr, and Shedeur is a potential fit for what they're doing. Kellen Moore now has taken over there, so they've got a quarterback sensitive head coach. So we wait and see. But if he falls past 9, then things become extremely interesting for just about everybody, including the Broncos.
The scouting process is interesting on Shedeur Sanders. Now, granted, this is not a deep quarterback class. I mean, if Shedeur came out last year, where would he have been a first-round pick? When you look at last year's quarterback class, no. Do you think? I mean, he wouldn't have been in the top. I mean, I don't think anybody would have drafted Shedeur over.
I mean, 6 went.
What's that?
Not.
What's that? Say that one more time, Bruce. I don't think he goes.
What's that? Would he have been a first-round pick last year?
Yeah.
No.
Yeah. Right.
No.
So this year's class isn't that deep. You have some who believe he's the top quarterback in the class. And then you have others that we talked about at the top of the show. He's not even a first-round talent. Someone's going to be right and someone's going to be wrong. I'm looking forward to seeing who's right and who's wrong.
Is it the biggest question of the first round? It is to me.
I think so. He will be a first-round pick.
Okay.
I have very little doubt of that. It's just who takes him. Does a team trade up to get him? Or does he just fall and he lands where he lands? And if he falls and he lands where he lands, that's where the Broncos pick at 20 becomes interesting if they don't have their guy. They could take a safety. There's some really good safeties on the board. But I think you can get Tavion Henderson at 25, 26 because of the depth of the running back class. That would make sense to me to trade back if your mock draft suggests the teams in front of the teams between 21 and 24, as an example, aren't in the market for running backs. You have no intel that they're going to even consider taking a running back. Why not trade back to 25?
There's another it's a great question. And there's one more consideration in this draft, in talking to people that I trust about this, that the 6th and the 7th rounds are probably not going to be as productive as they have been in the last couple of years. There's value in this draft at the top of the draft, or the best values in this draft are supposedly in the 2nd and the 3rd round. There's going to be players that are difference makers, obviously, in the 1st, but your depth pieces, which are so important for any team in a draft, are really strong in the 2nd, 3rd, even into the 4th round. After that, it starts to peter out a little bit. So I think that becomes a consideration as well.
All right, that's going to do it for us. Hot Takes, Goodman and Haertl. Bruce, Alex. Alex, why don't you pop on in here? Because when I say Alex, they're thinking, who's Alex?
This is Alex. Right
I am Alex.
This is Alex. What shirt are you repping?
2023 Denver Nuggets NBA champs.
Oh, he's manifesting this right now. He's manifesting this feeling in advance for Saturday. That a boy.
Well done.
Thank you. Hopefully we can have a 2025 one as well.
Yeah. Guys, have a great day. See ya.